Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kyle. This is Kyle by the Creek, and we got another tractor today. I got a cheap one, $50. I've been having pretty good luck getting either free, trading some things, or getting really cheap mowers on Marketplace recently, and we got another $50 machine here in the winter that will be either a winter or early spring project. But let me show you. It's a Troy-Bilt. It's got, I think, a 36-inch deck, 18.5 horsepower Briggs engine, looking in decent shape. Maybe a little bit of metal work on the deck, but I'll show you. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's one of these Broncos. Maybe it's a 42-inch deck, I don't know. FNR. Oh, they call it DNR. Thought that was a medical thing. Anyway, I think it's because it's a variable drive. How do you drive this thing? Oh, like that. I don't like that, but it won't be my machine. Probably a 42-inch. I thought it was 36 or 38. That's a hefty hood. 18.5. You know, I just pulled over on the side of the road. Oh, that's nice and gloppy in there. But yeah, I'm not really going to start this up or anything. But yeah, it's a CVT, continuously variable transmission. But anyway, pretty good shape. Thing will clean up nice, I think. Let's get it home. But just the bolt is right there. Should be fine. All right, here's another look at it off the trailer. Not a bad looking machine. You know, these Troy-Bilts, these are real cheap, but they do the job. It's nice that it's all there and nothing's like dented up or rusted out, or everything under the engine looks super clean. So I don't think we had any oil leaks. Even the valve cover looks good. Yeah, so I have high hopes for this. I think it's gonna be just fine. Hey guys, well, it's February 13th right now, and as you can see, we got about 10 inches of snow today. And my school canceled school for the day, and I want to work on something. And I have no idea how long it's been since we looked at this Troy-Bilt, but it's the only thing that's close to my shed right now. I have a couple tractors way down there, but I don't think I'm getting those out today. And even my shed has my King Quad in it. But I figured maybe I can get this Troy-Bilt into this temporary shelter, and maybe we could do a little bit of work on it today from there. So kind of an interesting start, but let's see if we can get this thing either dragged in there or maybe even started, and maybe we can drive it into here. Let's see what we can do. Probably in the video we just did this, but I want to give this a once over here. All right, we got oil. And we have have a tiny bit of gas. Got a headlight that's loose. That's not even reaching. All right. Just don't want to burn that up on the muffler if we get it going. Okay, got no battery. I got my jump pack, but I think these tires are flat. That one's good. But let's blow up those tires just in case we get this thing going. I don't know, maybe it doesn't have spark. It looks pretty black, but it looks okay. Let's see if we have spark here. I don't know if I can set it up in a way that you can see it. That might do it. I do not see spark. All right, let's see if I can show you. We do have spark here. Probably couldn't see I'm holding the tripod with my legs, but I had to hold down the brake. The safety, or the parking brake, sorry, was not holding down the brake enough, so it didn't have spark. But it does have spark, so we can proceed from there. See if we can try this again. Just can't get a good battery around here. I have one of my quads over here. We'll use the battery from that, see if we can jump this thing. I really want to get this thing going. Alright, well, I can't get it started, and I might as well work on the carburetor because it's going to need it anyway at some point, right? So, it's not snowing right now, so it's not a bad time to work on it. Can't see what I'm doing. That was tight quarters working in there, but they got this off. Had to get out a lot more tools than I thought I was going to need, but all right, let's take this in the shed and we'll get this clean even before we know if it runs or not. Well, look at us being proactive, taking care of this carb before we even try to make it start. Usually the sort of stuff that you try to avoid doing if you can, but I don't know, I guess I want to just work on this machine. Yeah, it looks pretty clean. A little sticky in there. Needle looks decent. Just a little bit of debris in here. I don't know if you can see the speck right there. Things look good in there. Really good. I'll try to avoid spraying carb spray in there or even moving this gasket. I think I have a spare one of these, but these are really trouble once they move. They do not like to go back into place, and they like to even expand. So carb spray is pretty bad on stuff like this if you can avoid it. Try to avoid it. I mean, everything's looking nice in here. Passages seem clear. There's not much on this emulsion tube, if that's what you want to call it, but there's like one. Oh, there's one over here too. There's 2 holes that pass through. That's it. Yeah, everything seems good. Nice. It's 6 days later. We got even more snow. But I'm going to try to pull the Troy-Bilt out with the Quadrunner here. I already plowed a little bit of snow, so hopefully it rolls a bit. But I'll tug it along to the shed, and I might have to use the plow of the quad to push the tractor into the shed. But I really want to work on this thing today, so let's see if we can get the quad fired up and the Troy-Bilt moved. Well, I just had it running, so it should start right up. We'll see. Nice, this will make it a lot easier to work on. It rolled pretty easy once I put it in neutral. Wow, these tires are good. Great, so what we're going to try to do is get a good crank on this, because I was having trouble when I had a jump pack hooked up or battery hooked up. It didn't have a real good connection here, so I might have to clean it ground. It did a little better when you hook the cables up to the starter and bump the starter. I wanted to start a little easier that way. So we'll work on battery and connections, see if we can get a good crank on this. I just dropped in a newer battery. Let's see if this thing will fire up. Alright, there's the first fire up. And I, like usual, forgot how much oil was in here, so I didn't want to run it too long. But let's check the oil again. It's surging a little bit. So we'll try all the RPMs, see if it idles smoothly or revs out all the way. We'll test it some more, but getting a little smoky in here. That first startup always has a bunch of smoke with it. Alright, the oil is a little low, but it's good enough for testing, and I added a bit of gas. And I got both doors to the shed open now. Let's see what it does. Well, it's not running very good. It's very loud. It doesn't come across on the GoPro, I know. But surging pretty much everywhere. So, you know, the carb might need to be looked at again. Might need a valve adjustment. I don't know. Might need a new muffler, or at least maybe the guards that are around the muffler are just vibrating a lot. I'm not sure. But at least she runs, right? So I took this front bumper muffler guard off. And I think I found why it's so rattly and loud. There's 2 bolts that need to go in here for the muffler. Yeah, so the muffler's pretty loose on this side. It's bolted down on the opposite side. But hopefully we can get 2 bolts in there. So that should solve the noise, because the muffler looks good. But I figured we'd start easy, and we'll go with a new spark plug and see if that improves the run condition. And then if not, now I have the valve cover accessible, so we can take a look at the valves next. You know, I'm pretty confident in the carb since it was already so clean and I cleaned it. But we can always revisit that again too. We have 2 bolts in the muffler. That's a lot better. And I have a used, but very lightly used Autolite equivalent spark plug to the Briggs that was in there. So that was the original Briggs spark plug, and it didn't look bad, but like I said, this is just an easy swap out here. See if this makes any difference. Actually sounds like it's running better. The muffler is definitely fixed, but it's only running on choke, so that's a little bit of a development. Well, I'm just trying to go with the most simple thing first. So I did the spark plug. That seemed to make it run better, but now only on choke. So I wonder if we're picking up some dirty fuel. And I might as well change out this little filter here. These things never want to come off. Ah, fuel line was clogged there. I just blew it open. Oh yeah, that should help. that's running a lot better. I wouldn't call that perfect. The idle is a bit uneven, but it definitely throttles up just about perfectly. So, you know, a valve adjustment could make a difference. The spark plug definitely made a difference. And then the unclogged fuel line definitely made a difference. So we're doing a pretty good job of doing things one at a time here so we can see what's going on. But you can kind of see just tinkering, you know, improving one thing after another, it does eventually accumulate into something pretty decent. Stopped filming for a little bit there, but I got this tractor up and I got the deck off and I have the variable drive belt off. This is what it looks like. It's all chewed up. You know, I partly wonder if it's the wrong belt. So I have to look up a part number, but I do have one that seems very similar. So it might be a little bit shorter. But yeah, the deck put up a little bit of a fight, but we got it off and it's in really good shape and it mows. I didn't film that, but it mows and it's very smooth. So I don't have any problems with the bearings. We'll definitely sharpen the blades, clean that up and probably paint it. But just looking into, you know, I really got my hands in there and got that belt out. It's probably not the way to do it because that hurt a little bit. But I gotta look into the right way to do this. So with the battery and the battery tray out, this is what it looks like in here. It looks like I'd have to get this nut off that pulley. It looks like I'd have to use a wrench. I don't know if I could get a socket. You have this, this is the, what is that? That is the deck height adjustment. And everything pivots on this, so that's not going anywhere. But yeah, I have to either get a socket on there or a wrench, I think, to take that pulley off, and then you could more easily get a new belt on. I was basically able to get the old belt off because it was frayed at one certain point, and that made it skinnier. And then it just sort of slid off, but like up against the wall here, there's almost no room. Hard to see in here, but I already got this nut loose. Use a wrench, put a screwdriver in one of the holes in the pulley, and that loosened it, that anchored it, so then I could loosen this up, and this wasn't tight at all. Thank goodness. So with this off, this pulley should just come loose enough. Yeah, it comes all the way off. So now I'll be able to slip the belt behind here where it like nearly pinches up against the wall. So that'll make things a lot easier. So I'm going to try this belt, even though I think it might be a little small. Let's give it a shot. Okay, take this for what it's worth, but we got the belt on. Again, I'm still a little worried it's too short of a belt. But then I have to get this tensioner spring attached to the frame, and I have a rope around it, and I'm gonna pull. So this is like a little trick here to get this. So I'm gonna pull the rope. The rope is going through the hole. See if I can get it. There we go. Actually just got it. So you can pull the rope out, and now everything's got tension. So the belt's on. Everything's set. We're gonna drive it a little bit and see if this thing functions. Well, that was shockingly successful. Alright, so that belt worked, not a problem. Transmission feels awesome, and it actually hauls pretty good in the snow. Alright, so I'd like to fix this idle issue. It's still running a little rough while idling, but full RPM, it's sounding pretty good. So again, that could be carb related. Just wondering if we should just go ahead and crack into the valves and see if that solves it. Well, I decided to go a different direction. I decided to crack into that carburetor one more time. And although it took me a while, I'm glad I did it because it's running perfect now. So, you know, I had some fuel leak problems. Anyway, you know, lots of stuff I didn't film. Doesn't really matter. Listen to it. It runs perfect now. So that idle screw is all the way out. That's like rock bottom idle right there. And it's perfect, nice and smooth. And full RPM sounds good too. So we're all set there. We don't need to crack into those valves, which is always good. Although it did take a couple turns with that carburetor. But that was the real issue, so I'm glad we got that solved. Okay, we are speeding right along. Okay, I guess it's time to address the mowing deck, and we'll take that out back. We'll get it cleaned up, get the blades sharpened, and probably paint it. Well, everything I'm doing to clean this machine, to polish it up, is not working. It's below freezing. When I spray this thing with degreaser, the degreaser is freezing upon contact. So I don't think there's any way that I'm really going to get this machine clean for you guys. And, you know, it's February 20th. This is looking great for February 20th, especially since this machine was covered in snow for most of the video. So we're running good now. We got an oil change, as you saw. Got the deck put back on. Got a new spark plug. I think I have a new air filter for this. Let me check. Even grease the front end. And I'm ready to get this thing outside and do an outro. I do have a new air filter, so I might as well do that. This is an official Briggs & Stratton air filter. This one is really dusty. It says mesh side down. Let me get this out of your way. Get the pre-filter. There we go. I normally do my outros by the creek, you know, Kyle by the creek. But there's just too much snow on the ground to drive this thing down there. So I'm gonna park it around the corner in a second here, but this was kind of a shorter video. This Troy-Bilt didn't actually need all that much work, and I abbreviated some things with some time lapse, and there you go. We got a 30-minute video or somewhere around there. So I hope you guys enjoyed the journey of getting this Troy-Bilt pony as a non-running machine and working on it until it's fully reliable and running perfect. Really happy with the way especially this engine runs. I think the deck came out great too. I'm happy that I was able to replace that variable drive belt and have no issues with that. It's a really strong transmission actually. So I think this will be a very nice mowing machine for someone in the spring. Hope you guys stay tuned to the channel, subscribe to it. Love to have you guys as new subscribers. I'm trying to push out as much content as possible. It really ends up being about 3 long form videos a month. So hopefully as things warm up, and especially in the summer, I'll be able to do more. But I appreciate all the feedback, likes and comments that you guys have been delivering so far. Thank you guys. Stay tuned for the next one.